but how will all of these overnight cues impact our own Indian markets? We now have our research team joining in with how the trade setup looks like and the stocks that are likely to be in the news. First up, we have Hormas joining in to get us all the cues from the market space that we need to watch out for. Hormas, good morning.
Amakshi, good morning. And it was a cautious handover on expected lines heading into a major event being the FOMC policy, and of course the cautious tinge is percolating onto our own markets as well. But for us, it has been that case over the last 4 to 5 trading sessions, even though we ended higher yesterday, but a similar script following, failing to hold at higher levels. What may also keep the sentiments in check today, of course, are the rising tensions at the India-Pakistan border and the Ministry of Home Affairs ordering a civil defense mock drill across 244 districts tomorrow. So that may keep sentiments in check, and that is evident from the GIFT Nifty as well. Now, what's also indicating caution is that yesterday we made a lower high on the charts when it comes to the Nifty, as yesterday's high was lower than that of Friday's high. We did cross 24,500 yet again, but failed to sustain at those levels. So that becomes the first level to cross, then followed by Friday's high on the upside. On the downside, though, it is yesterday's low of 24,400 that comes in as the first line of defense, followed by last week's lows, which include the likes of 24,290 and then 24,038, which was the low of last week. Of course, on the Nifty Bank, it ended below the 55,000 mark, but what kept the losses in check was HDFC Bank, which stood tall and withstood pressure from all other banking heavyweights, be it Kotak, be it ICICI or Axis, and it was HDFC Bank that ensured that the Nifty also ended in the green. The earnings season continues. Keep an eye out on the wires and cables companies, and also watch out for Tata Motors today as the shareholders vote for their CV business demerger. But for now, a cautious start in the offing.
Okay, cautious start is what we're watching out for today. But now over to Ria, who's here to tell us what are the important stocks to watch out for in today's trading session. Good morning, Ria.
Well, yes, let's take a look at the stocks that are going to be in focus today. First up, we have Coforge on the back of its Q4 numbers. Now, the net profit has increased by around 21.2% sequentially. Even the rupee revenue has gone up by around 4.7%. Margins this time around have come in at 13.2% versus 11.9% that we saw in Q3 of FY25. For DCM Shriram, the net profit and the EBITDA both have seen increases of around 52% over the previous year. Even the margins have seen an expansion coming in at 14.1% versus 11.1% in Q4 of last year. For IHCL, the revenue has gone up by around 27.3% on a year-on-year basis. Margins have come in at 35.3% versus 34.6% in Q4, so largely stable margins for IHCL. For CAMS, the revenue and EBITDA have seen increases of around 14.7% and 11.2% on a year-on-year basis. Margins, on the other hand, have contracted a little bit to 44.7% versus 46.1% in Q4 of last year. For J&K Bank, the net profit has gone down by around 8.5% on a year-on-year basis, but the net interest income has seen an increase of around 13.3% over the previous year. Shifting away from earnings, IEX has come out with its business update for the month of April. The traded electricity volume has gone up by around 26%, and the real-time electricity market volume has gone up by around 48% over the previous year. 2 pharma stocks will be in focus today. First up is Glenmark Pharma. Now, Ichnos Glenmark Innovation has received the US FDA Fast Track designation for ISB 2001, and Sonoris Pharmaceuticals will be in focus since they have acquired the US FDA approved ANDA for topiramate from Wockhardt. For Paras Defense, the stock will be in focus since they have signed an MOU with an Israel-based company called Heaven Drones to form a JV in India for the development and production of logistics and cargo drones for defense and for the civil market as well. And lastly, Cyient will be in focus since its arm Cyient has received an order levying a penalty of around $26,779 from the IRS in the US.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ria. That's quite a comprehensive list. And finally, we now have Mangalam joining in with cues from the F&O space. Good morning, Mangalam.
Good morning. So if you look at the Nifty, it is consolidating around higher levels. We're facing some supply over 24,500. We've been facing supply above 24,450 to 24,550 over the last few trading sessions. And yesterday, even as we closed about 114 points higher, we actually closed about 60 points lower from the day's high itself. And the bigger culprit was the Nifty Bank led lower by Kotak Mahindra Bank and SBI. No problems with the broader markets. They continue to do well. But overnight, the developments at the border have kept the GIFT Nifty gains in check, along with the weakness that we've seen on Wall Street itself. GIFT Nifty suggests an absolutely flat start. The only worry is, are the flows getting a little too lopsided now? Because it's the 9th session where both the FIs and the DIs have bought together. The FIs bought 500 crores and they've bought for 13 sessions in a row. the longest streak since April, May 2023. In fact, in just the last 13 sessions, the FIs have gone ahead and bought $5 billion in cash market. That's the highest continuous purchase that we've seen all the way since November, December 2020 itself. So that's the question. Even on the index futures side, if you look at the Nifty futures premium, yesterday itself, it jumped from 54 rupees to around 92.5 rupees. And the FIIs continue to buy in index futures. They bought about 530 crores, added about 2,900 longs, covered 717 shorts. And with that, nearly all the shorts are out of the system. The FII contracts on the short side are sub 5,000 and their long exposure is now at an even 49.51 is their long short exposure right now. The 24,500 call writers fairly active, telling you levels upwards of 24,550 will continue to face supply, but at lower levels we might see some support around 24,300. But if there were any further downsides on account of border-related issues, there have been a lot of put buyers at 24,000 itself. So that's something we'll keep an eye out on. Also watch out for Manappuram. That stock entered F&O ban yesterday.
Thank you so much for that, Mangalam. But